What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex. In this video, I want to talk about how the Nemesis system could work in the new Batman Arkham game. So this is another one of those kind of discussion, kind of fun videos that are very, very different from any of the videos I've done in the past. Now, to quickly open up this video, I do want to give you guys a sneak preview at the rest of this week. Wednesday, we are also going to be talking about just a feature in the new game. Friday, we'll be talking about the Origins anniversary for a possible announcement. So I know maybe a lot of people or the people that have been criticizing me aren't going to want to watch Friday's video. You know, whatever. It's up to you guys. I'm not going to police what you guys watch, but those are just what's coming up in the future. So today and Wednesday are going to be more discussions about the game. Friday is going to be talking about an announcement, or once again, basically a centering around the Origins anniversary, though. And then next week we will continue discussion videos. Hopefully, eventually, we do get an announcement rather soon, and then we will start actually covering the game once we know, once we can see a trailer. We'll be able to talk loads about the game. All right, so in this video, I've been talking about this for a little while, and I had said that this is a video I wanted to make, a video kind of just on the Nemesis system. Now, you guys gave me so many awesome suggestions, or even just kind of jogged my memory of more things I wanted to talk about in Friday's video, those top 5 things that I want in the game. Your guys' lists were awesome, and those lists are things that I also want to make videos about going forward. So if you don't mind, I'm going to be borrowing some of that stuff, but the Nemesis system is something that, like I've said in the past, needs to be in this game. It's 100%. If the Nemesis system isn't in this game, I'll wonder, what's going on. Now, but here's the thing. It needs to be in this game. I want it in this game. If it comes out or they announce it and there's no mention of it and it's not in it, I won't be all that surprised. I'll be like, wow, like they dropped the ball. But I truly wouldn't be all that surprised if it wasn't in the game. But I do feel like just the way Warner Bros. Works, with Monolith Studios, makers of the the Middle Earth game, Shadow of Mordor and Shadow of War, they share ideas because they're all owned by Warner Bros. Warner Bros. Companies bounce things off each other all the time. And, firstly, it's not going to be surprised to see so many things that were in the Rocksteady games, just in general games, in this new Arkham game that Warner Bros. Montreal is making. So why not introduce the Nemesis system that we already know is, when it came out, it was revolutionary. It was amazing. People were really, really praising it. I was praising it. I loved the idea. I think it worked phenomenally. I really do think it worked so, so well. And while it's been a while since we've seen it in action, with Shadow of War, we know that studios, just not even Monolith, we know that they are starting to incorporate. We've heard things from studios saying, yeah, we want to use that, or we want to kind of have our own way of doing it. And that's just other studios in general. The Nemesis system is, in fact, revolutionary, and it is, in fact, something that you'll see many, many games have in the future. I hope it's not too many. I don't want just an influx of every single game having it, but I really don't think it'll be that way. I think really a system like that takes some very, very talented people, takes people that know how it works, and that's ultimately why I think it should, and it probably will, be in this Arkham game, is they could, if they wanted to use it, there's very easy communication. They maybe even could have brought people in that helped work on the Nemesis system. But how would it work? Now, that's a thing for me to speculate in this video, and I also definitely want to hear from you guys in the comments below. How would you envision the Nemesis system working in this Arkham game? Now, in Arkham Knight, we started to get an introduction of basically kind of close to what a Nemesis system, kind of the baseline. Remember when with the Riddler stuff, you could actually interrogate people and they would tell you, and I mean, it wasn't it was very, very baseline. They just had, it was just one thing you could basically do. You would grab them, Batman would do his animation, he would choke them and hold them in the air, he would slam them and put his foot up to their face, and they would tell him the information, and he would just break their skull. I mean, not really, but he would knock them out in a very, very violent way. And that was pretty much it. And it would give you basically locations as to the Riddler challenges. Now, that was for Riddler stuff, but really that could you could use that and start from there and continue on. Obviously, the game would have to be open world, which we assume it is, right? I know a lot of people have talked about day and night cycles. I think that would be absolutely phenomenal, and that would be a perfect thing for criminal bosses, or just crime lords would be able to gain notoriety basically during the day, and then at night they'd be, and that's another thing, you could even introduce kind of leveling of them, and obviously you would. I mean, the Nemesis system, you'd have to have certain criminals higher up than others. Now, in Batman, there's already the different factions of guys, right? There's people that just have more armor. There's people that certain move sets work against or certain gadgets work against, but other gadgets or other move sets don't. So they already have the different classes, and you have to imagine this new game would also have new classes. So again, like, the base is kind of already there. There's already different classes, and all you have to really do is kind of attach like a leveling system to them. And if it's going to be an open world and there's really going to be different factions, it would definitely be taking Arkham Knight and moving it up. Like, we know Penguin and his goons are out there and they're doing things. We know Two-Face is robbing banks and stuff. Like, there's different, the side villains in Arkham Knight, they were all doing things, but they were all completely separate from each other. Now, in Arkham City, there were cutscenes in which, obviously, they were together, but Arkham Knight, for the most part, every single villain was basically completely separate. And again, they were all doing their own things. They all had goons at their disposal that were pretty much the exact same, right? They were all, I mean, like, they were all the exact same, a kind of mold of a character, but they never interacted. So if this new game can do it right, can make it the biggest open world from an Arkham game yet, can really have these villains be fleshed out, and they each have their own, not just side quests. Like, I like the side quests that Arkham Knight had, and I like that kind of where you had to do a couple things for each person, and they kind of have their own short storyline. Keep that. That's totally cool. And those are for, like, that's like Two-Face, Riddler, whatever, if Riddler isn't, but like whoever, it doesn't matter. Introduce a couple villains that we haven't seen in games before. You can have that, and that could still honestly kind of be separate from the main from the main Nemesis system point. At the same time, maybe all of these henchmen are, like, if you pull up, remember how in the Nemesis system, like, you could go basically onto its own screen and you saw, like, all the levelings of them. Maybe you block the top level, and those are like the heads. That's Two-Face, it's Penguin, it's blank, blank, blank. There's like 5 of them, and then everybody else is below them, but you can't see the heads of them yet. You can only see the lowest, and you have to do the Nemesis system kind of thing with them in order to get to the heads. Now, it wouldn't exactly be like the Middle-earth games, right? Because you couldn't brainwash them. You can't have them come in at your disposal. I can't really imagine Batman recruiting or you wanting to recruit criminals to, like, help you take out other criminals. I don't know if it would work like that. Here's the thing. I want it. I want the Nemesis system in the game. I think it's honestly not all that difficult to do. You just have to kind of make unique people, which it doesn't seem all that hard. They can remember Batman. Maybe if you throw them in jail, but then maybe they break out, or maybe somebody else. Maybe at the prison, there's routine, like the game, there's like a system in the game where every so often prisoners will break out. Not all of them, but like select, and maybe other prisoners will help. And then like those people, they'll rise up because they'll be like, hey, Batman caught me, but I know how he works now. And maybe, something like that. Maybe they upgrade themselves from one level to the next, so the next time you face them, maybe that you can't do what you did to beat them the first time. I mean, honestly, it's really not that, it doesn't seem all that difficult. I mean, the hardest thing would be just implementing it. It would, from a game that doesn't have the Nemesis system in it, in order to actually put that into it. This next Arkham game, if it's going to have a Nemesis system, it's going to feel like a different game, because it just is, right? It's going to have more like weight to taking out villains, basically, or just street thugs, like common street thugs. It's going to have more weight to doing that than normal, right? Because normally you hear them in their intercom or whatever, you swoop in, you beat them up, and you leave. And Arkham Knight, Arkham City and then Arkham Knight, it kind of incrementally made it so that it's a little bit more of like a thing, right? Like there's kind of like places that you go where there's just a lot of them, and it's like a whole brawling section, or you do your like sneak. And that's another thing, the whole kind of like when you're sneaking around, not necessarily like literally you're put in the middle and you have to fight them, like you're keeping track of your combos and stuff. Even the other ones where you're kind of going around, you're trying to be sneaky, and you're like hanging them off of gargoyles and stuff like that. You could still have that be around like a camp where there's like a main. I mean, think about Shadow of War or Shadow of Mordor. That's basically what they did. There were like those camps, those like concentrated areas where you could free animals to help you out. Again, you could like actually use them. You could mind control them, and they would be yours or whatever. You could do all that, and the whole kind of point was you go into a camp and there's probably 1 or 2 pretty strong people, and Again, like that would be pretty easy. You could maybe even use detective mode, switch on detective mode, and it'll isolate who is like the main target, what level they are, what's their deal. Maybe do they have a connection to this character or that character? Again, like you can't really. I don't know. From Shadow of Mordor to Shadow of War, they definitely added a lot more stuff. They added where they remember you a whole lot more, where they have the storylines with you. But they also added how you could use them more in combat, where you could use them more just in general. There was a lot there. I wouldn't expect it to be the most fleshed out thing in the world for this game. At the same time, if it is in it, and if it does work like insanely well, I don't know how many people have really thought this far, because I really even haven't either. How many people want another Arkham game after this one? I kind of do, just to start. I'd always kind of like an Arkham game going on. I mean, until they do just a terrible job, until I want the franchise dead, I'll still probably want it, right? But at the same time, like if they have this game and the Nemesis system is just insanely good, and it's like, wow, they took a lot of the strengths from the Middle Earth games, but then they made it like they themed it for Batman. Like I think if they did that, we would all definitely want another one, because we'd be like, all right, you showed us firstly that you can do an Arkham game, you can do it really, really well. It hasn't lost its like luster, like we still all love this Batman universe. And then you did the Nemesis system, and we want more of that. And let's see how you can really, really make that your own. How do you make that for Batman, and how do you elevate that for the next game? I think that's like a discussion people will have once the game comes out. Now, this could just be a 100% wasted video if there is no Nemesis system, but again, I think it's kind of necessary. I don't think it's all that difficult. The resources are 100% there to actually make this a reality, and it just like I really want to see what they could do from it. And these are, I mean, I'm just kind of rambling off. I didn't like write notes. I haven't been thinking about this for months. I mean, I have thought that like the Nemesis system was going to be in the game, but I haven't like planned what I was going to say in this video. So this is just one person sitting in their living room talking to you guys, just rattling off a couple ideas. Maybe you guys have thought about it more. Maybe you guys have way better ideas. And I'm sure if they've even remotely thought about it, had meetings about it, they could probably come up with even better stuff than what I said. So let me know in the comments below, guys. What do you think? How do you see the Nemesis system working in this game? Do you even think it's going to be in this game? Let me know. Make sure you guys subscribe to our YouTube channel. Hit that bell icon. You guys have been doing an absolute phenomenal job at all that stuff. Your support has been absolutely awesome. You guys liking these videos and sharing them have been so awesome. So you guys are the absolute best. Really, really fast, Wednesday's video, just to give you guys a sneak preview, is going to be top 5 things I don't want in the game. It's not going to just be a reverse of the things I said and say I don't want those things. It's just going to be brand new things that I don't want this game to do. Again, Friday is going to be the anniversary talk, and then next week will be more discussions about the game, okay? So that way you guys kind of know where I'm going with each video. So if you guys like these kind of videos, you'll probably like Wednesdays. You may not like Fridays, but just to give you guys a heads up, okay? So thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.